Hi, I'm Darryl. Welcome back to the shop. Today we're going to cover bowl turning. Whether it's your first bowl or you just need a few pointers, this video will walk you through the entire process from start to finish. We're going to use a Nova G3 chuck with the standard 50mm jaws and the woodworm screw attachment. Let's get started. To get started, we'll have to prepare our blank. Here I'm cutting a flat on this side of the blank to make it easier to cut the blank into a round. This is a great tip. Anytime you have some pieces of plywood or MDF or any kind of scrap flat sheet goods, go ahead and cut yourself a couple of different sized discs. And you can use these as templates to round out your blank. So as you can see here, I keep a finished nail and I go ahead and hammer that down into the material to mark the center and then trace around the outside. And this line that I'm tracing here will be the one that I'll use to cut the blank into round at the bandsaw. Next, we'll use that center mark to drill a hole for mounting the blank to the woodworm screw. Now, the woodworm screw requires approximately a 3/8 inch hole. I would recommend a slightly smaller bit for softwoods and greenwood, and a slightly larger bit for harder dense woods. Insert the woodworm screw into the chuck and tighten securely. Using the hole that we just drilled, thread the blank completely onto the woodworm screw, making sure that the blank makes solid contact with the jaws of the chuck. At this point, you can bring up your tailstock for additional support, although it's not necessary. The blank will most likely be unbalanced at this point. That's why it's a good idea to start the lathe at the lowest speed possible and bring the speed up slowly until you arrive at a safe speed that you can turn at where there's minimal vibration. Now it's time to start forming your bowl. Start out by taking out the corners of the bottom of the blank and starting to form the curve that goes from the foot to the rim of the bowl. It's a good idea to stop frequently and check your progress to make sure that things are going the way you like them to go. And in this case, I stop quite often to make sure that I've removed all of the bark from the bottom corner of this bowl, because that's not part of my envisionment of my final project. Here's a great tip. While in the roughing stages, which is bringing the bowl blank into round, you can check your progress for any flats by resting the bar of your turning tool on the top of the blank. If it bounces, it still has flats. There are a few things to keep in mind as you continue to rough the bowl out. It's best to keep the tool rest as close to the work as possible. The closer to round your bowl gets, the higher speeds you'll be allowed to turn at, which will provide a smoother cut. Now this blank had some checking in the end grain, which resulted in some small cracks. This is a great opportunity to add embellishments to your project. In this case, I'm using a colored CA glue to fill those cracks and give an accent on this side of the bowl. The only other alternative I would have had would have been to cut those away, which would have made my bowl smaller. It's also worth noting that you want to do this before you arrive at your final shape, because you'll need to go back and cut away the top surface, because in the case of the colored CA, it actually stains the wood just a little bit around the embellishment. Once the CA dries, you want to take a couple of light finish cuts to smooth out the surface and remove any staining around the embellishment. Once the shape of the outside of the bowl has been finalized, it's now time to turn our attention to the bottom. Now I'm starting out by flattening out the bottom. This isn't absolutely a necessary step, but it does help a little bit. So once it's flat, I go ahead and use the Nova 10-in-1 gauge to mark out the size of the recess that I'm going to put in the bottom of the bowl. Now the 10-in-1 gauge is really primarily meant to size out a tenon. So if you're going to use a recess, you want to go just a little bit larger than the mark that you put on the bottom of your bowl. Using a bedan tool, I hollow out the recess in the bottom of the bowl to form the mount for the chuck. The Nova Dovetail Chisel allows you to cut a dovetail profile on the walls of the recess that will perfectly match the profile of the jaws on your chuck. Now that the recess has been cut, this is a great opportunity to form the foot of your bowl. With the outside of the bowl fully formed, it's now time to turn our attention to the inside. Unscrew the bowl from the woodworm screw and remove the woodworm screw from the chuck. Install the bowl using the previously formed recess. Be sure to tighten it securely. Start by leveling the rim of the bowl. The center of the bowl doesn't really matter at this point because we'll be removing all that material anyway. Because wood is a natural material, when you turn the blank around for hollowing, there are times where it picks up a little bit of imbalance. So it's a good idea to go ahead and make a couple of smooth finish cuts on the outside of the bowl to bring it back into round. Now it's time to hollow out the bowl. There are many different ways to do this. This is by no means a definitive guide, but I typically like to start from the outside and work my way in. There's a tendency to want to go directly from the rim to the bottom of the bowl while hollowing out. This will provide a conical interior, which isn't really what you want. So it's better to kind of drive down the side of the bowl a little bit and then work your way to the center. Doing this will save you some time when you try to match the contour of the inside and the outside of the bowl later. It's very important to check your depth as you go. This is easily accomplished using a jig such as the one shown here that you could easily make out of materials probably already in your shop. In my experience, the best tools for making a nice smooth bottom and a nice transition from the bottom of the bowl to the sides of the bowl is a curved edge scraper. Now that both the inside and outside of the bowl have been formed, I'm going to take a few seconds here and address the rim of the bowl. With the inside of the bowl shaped, sanded, and finished, it's time to turn our attention to the foot. With the use of the Nova large coal jaws, we'll be able to reverse mount the bowl and decorate the foot area on the bottom of the bowl. So the first thing we need to do is we need to move the bumpers to the appropriate location to grip the outside rim of our bowl. When reverse mounting the bowl in this manner, a firm yet not overly tight grip is all that's really necessary here. As we begin to work on the foot of the bowl, it's worth mentioning that the coal jaws are rated for around 700 RPM and no more. This specification is printed directly on the plates of the coal jaws. The coal jaws will hold your bowl securely as you provide whatever form of decoration you'd like for the bottom of your bowl. Let your imagination go wild here. Switching to a detail gouge, a couple of concentric lines can be placed on the bottom of the bowl. Typically, this area, in my experience, is used to sign your piece. With a little bit of sanding to the bottom of the bowl, and your bowl's complete. And now we have this nice little cherry bowl. After filming, I went ahead and sanded that through the grits and applied several coats of food-safe butcher block finish, preparing it for use. Bowl turning is a very enjoyable process. This guide is not meant to be definitive in any way. There are several ways to go about the process of turning bowls. This is just one of many. So I would like to encourage you all to get out into your shops and try to turn a bowl. So be safe, and I'll catch you next time. Thanks.